Hello Linux lovers and Ubuntu users. Here we are with brand new Ubuntu 18.04 LTS Bionic Beaver. Several people asked me to do a voiceover review of it, so here I am. So pardon my French, pardon my accent. Anyways, cutting up the crap, let's start with what's new in Ubuntu. This is the first screen which we'll see after installing Ubuntu 18.04, so that you get to use to know what is where, and then you can do a live patch, which means you can update the kernel without needing the reboot. It's not a big deal on desktop as much as on servers. And then you have the data collection opt-out on the screen, which shows like what kind of data Ubuntu is going to send to its server for public analysis. As you can see, the data is not really very crucial or confidential, so it's up to you whether you decide to send it to Canonical or not. In this case, let's say I'll just send it to them so that they can improve. And then something about the software, so that an absolute new beginner can, get started with it. But let's go to GNOME. So this is the new layout, which is actually GNOME, but it resembles a little bit like Unity, with the desktop, the launcher on the bottom, and the applet indicators on the top. And if you are new to GNOME, there's a new help document, so that if you are lost, you can refer to it to know what thing or where and how to use it. And you can show the application from the left bottom corner. So this is the dash or the hood which you are used to in Unity. So you can just, it's searchable, you can just search for stuff like video, and then it will show all the stuff related to videos, like all the applications that are installed, all the applications that are also available in the software center, be it a media player or a video editor. And then it also shows something from the files, if there are files matching with the search term, which is quite good, especially the software center part. So it's almost the same as 17.10, just that it has a little bit changed file manager. So you have the dark left sidebar here. The rest is the same as 16.04 or 17.10. There are some options here in the settings. You have the options to restart and power off. There's this desktop rotation stuff. It is like your mobile phone, where you can disable or lock the screen rotation, which is completely useless in my opinion, but well, it's there, so well, why not? And then you can go to the settings from there, or you can just search from the activities overview area. And one good thing is that it automatically identified my headset and changed the output and the input as soon as I plugged in my USB headset, which is quite good. It's not a big thing, but on 16.04 I had to manually do it, so it's a good thing. So what else you can do here? You have the option to change the background. It's not a big deal, of course. Changing the backgrounds, it's trivial stuff, but well, why not? I'll change it back to the usual beaver, purple beaver. Forgive me, UK people, but yeah, purple beaver. You can change the behavior of the left dock, so you can change the size as you could do it in Unity. And you can also change the position to bottom or to the right corner. And there's also option of auto hiding, which does not exactly behave the same as in Unity. So it's not gonna auto hide that like what you are expecting, that it will just hide the screen, but that's not gonna happen. What it does is, if you move an application window close to the launcher, close to the dock, then the dock will hide. It's kind of a good thing when you want a full screen. Then the dock will be hidden. And the Windows animation, like just move it to the top and it will become full screen. And there's the menu. I mean, global menus are not here, but you have to compromise with this one, which is not the same as Unity, but at least there is something. And yes, this is I guess available in all the operating system, that you can split the screen in two parts with applications like that. And you have more settings here which you can do and configure as you like. For example, the notification pop-ups, if you don't want notifications, you can disable it, so you won't see these stuff here. But I prefer to keep it that way so that I get notified of stuff. You can also see the notification on the lock screen. So when this computer is locked, you could still see some notification as you might already seeing it on your Android or iPhone smartphones. So, and you can also control what kind of search it is. For example, if you turned off the Ubuntu software search option, and now if you search for videos, it won't show the suggestions from the software center. So it's really up to you for how you want to use your system. So more options. You can connect to online account. For example, if you connect to Google, you can mount the Google Drive on your system, but that's not very bandwidth friendly, because if you unmount it, it will mount again and then it will download the files again. So I mean, it doesn't even download the files. You have to access it like you are accessing it online, so it's not synchronized. And then you have the privacy stuff, so you can opt out from the data collection, and you can disable notifications, users history, and all those privacy related stuff. So sound we already saw. The power stuff, Ubuntu 18.04 has this automatic suspend option for laptops, where when your laptop is on battery power, it will go in suspend mode if it is inactive for 20 minutes. I don't want that kind of stuff because I'm not using my system all the time, but that doesn't mean it will go in suspend, so I have disabled it. Same goes for the dim screen when inactive, or the blank screen. I mean, it's really up to you if you want to turn it off or on or anything like that, and it's something which you can do, and it is easy to do, so the options are there. So whatever suits your need. Option to add a VPN here. And the display, there's the built-in nightlight feature, which you cannot see, but it will dim the light to a kind of yellow stuff, so when you're using it at night, your eyes will be less stressed with it. Keyboard shortcuts, you can change the mouse and touchpad settings, so you have tap to click, and the double click, two finger click is the default for right click now. I don't have printer, so, and the rest are the usual stuff, nothing specific here. And then if we go to system details, I did it on 25th April, but it still shows beta development, so it doesn't matter. It's almost the same as the fresh 18.04 stable release. So let's go to Ubuntu Software Center, which is GNOME, actually GNOME software, and it has plenty of applications, like 1,000 of them, mostly filled with Ubuntu's universal packaging called Snap. So you can see that this is Snap, and you can also change the Snap channels. I recommend reading my article on using Snap to know more about what are the channels and stuff, and how to use Snap in command line if you are interested in that. So you have the Snap applications, and you have the license information, whether it's open source license or proprietary, and there are categories for softwares, which is usual. I mean, you probably already seen it like several times. What bothers me is that the Software Center has both snap apps and non-snap apps, the regular packages. So you have two softwares of the same name, and both are like side by side, so it may confuse new users or even existing users who do not know which one to use. I mean, there are two applications of the same name. Which one would you use, snap or non-snap? So it's kind of confusing. I think there should have been a way to better integrate the snap apps in Software Center. That's my opinion. The same goes for VLC. You're searching for VLC, then there's two VLCs. Which one to install? I usually prefer non-snap apps, because snap apps they take lots of space, but they are more secure. So it's the choice is yours. One more thing I noticed is that some applications are not available in Software Center. For example, NeoFetch, which shows system information in terminal, you cannot find it in Software Center. But if you just use the good old apt command, NeoFetch is there, and you can simply install it by using those 3 magical commands: sudo apt install. I don't know why it happens. Maybe I should dig deeper in it. Anyways, so you can explore Software Center as much as you want. There's a new change in PPA. You might have already seen in the preview video I did previously. So when you add a PPA repository, a new repository, you don't have to manually do the sudo apt update afterwards. It automatically does it now, and which makes sense. This should have been the default behavior, because when you add a new repository, you have to update the index. Without that, your system will not be able to recognize or know that there's a new application, new program. So it makes sense. It should be the default. It should have been like this like forever. So it automatically updates the index. So that's one good thing in PPA management here. Let's move on to something else. Let's see what else you can tweak in the system. For that you need GNOME tweaks, and with GNOME tweaks you can actually change a few things like themes and many other things. Actually, you have to install it because it does not come pre-installed with Ubuntu. So you can change the themes here. Pop OS, it's one of my favorite themes. So you can see that it looks a little more beautiful, I would say. I mean, the default look is not bad, but it doesn't mean that you cannot make it better. And then there are the desktop icons which you can hide, or you can put more icons on the desktop. And there are the extensions which are like small plugins which can be used to get more features in the GNOME desktop. You can find some GNOME extensions on the website, and also you can refer to our article on GNOME best GNOME extensions. I have also made a separate video just to show how to use GNOME extensions, so I would suggest that you refer to that as well. The link is in the description. So this article here shows the best GNOME extensions that you can use. You can see it in actions as well, what it does and how you can use it to further extend the capability of the GNOME desktop. Let's move on to the tweaks section. So you can change the behavior of your mouse or touchpad slightly. I mean, there are more options here. The option to suspend when the laptop lid is closed, startup applications, and then this small stuff here, which is good because it allows you to change the battery percentage, show the battery percentage, which is a good thing because I like to see it. And then activities hot corner, and you can do some small stuff like show the date or seconds. I don't know if people actually show in seconds, but well, why not? So The Windows action means you can do some changes here. So Windows animation can be changed, and then you can change the behavior as well, whether to maximize it with double click or not. And then you can also change the Windows control button, so you can change it, move it to the left like Unity, or keep it right like GNOME. And you can also disable the maximize or minimize button, like GNOME doesn't have those maximize or minimize button, so you can do that as well. Lot of things. So that was more about themes and customization. Let's move back to the regular Ubuntu looks. Talking about themes, I think you might have heard of the community theme, which was supposed to be the default Ubuntu 18.04 looks. It is developed by the community, hence the name community theme. It is available in Snap as a Snap package in the Software Center, but it could not be complete in time, so Ubuntu 18.04 still doesn't have the new looks. I hope, and I'm guessing that 18.10 will have this look here. So you have the polished, aesthetically pleasing look. I really like this theme, and I really wanted 18.04 to have this new theme, but well, Ubuntu 18.04 also introduced the minimal install option, which is like just the required stuff like a browser, some utilities, and rest is up to you what you want to install or change. It's very convenient for people who like to control everything in their system. So free from garbage and adware or malware, everything. So we are coming to the end of the session. Let's try to look at the under the hood stuff. So this is what is being used here, and you can see that I'm using nothing but the GNOME Shell and a terminal. I suggest to install GNOME Desktop only if you have a system with 4 GB of RAM. Anything less than that, I would say go with XFCE or LXD like Ubuntu or Ubuntu, whatever, however you call it, Xubuntu. And then you have these under the hood changes, like what you're not seeing it, but there are so many changes like new softwares, Python, there's no GKSU, the Linux kernel, and then the new JDK Java stuff. I hope you liked the review, and stay tuned for more Ubuntu 18.04 tutorial. Stay subscribed, stay tuned for more videos. See you, bye bye.